question is, how does this work with,
Yeah, Western audience,
Yes.
as I said earlier, you can bring any song. Beethoven's is fine, like we said earlier. And also, if you saw what I put, there is no particular God name. We particularly brought deity-free bhajans. What Guruji says, deity-free bhajans. So you can bring those, and which is totally fine with this. But even this is enough, too much Sanskrit for them to be able to repeat. And anything, church choir songs are just as fine as church choir, right? They sing songs.
Just
So
the Om chant? Just the Om chant?
Om chants are totally fine. And you have to, we'll do that. One of the sessions will be Om chanting back to back. What we do is we say, don't wait for anybody. Om, Om. As soon as you finish, keep flooding yourself with Om in the whole room. At the end of it, the energy is profound. Like the thought we get, right? We say, think of the thought, which usually in meditation we say, don't think any thought. It's like, let it be. But here, you bring and the thought, you intensify, classify them, because people are suffering with certain nagging some thought, right? Some problem. Maybe a recent grief, maybe a recent, issue at work, or maybe, some loss or something, who knows? Or maybe a PTSD from childhood, who knows what it is, but it's, just bringing it to the awareness. These vasanas that are so deep in the psyche that sometimes they don't even know, and they may not even, in 1 or 2 sessions, they may not even get those same thoughts, but as they continue to practice, they will then develop the habit of, okay, now what bothers me and why, and then you diffuse that. And that diffusion is very important, otherwise they'll keep brooding over every time you sit for meditation, the vasana becomes, let me brood over those thoughts. Please understand that this has a pitfall, so you have to be properly guiding them, and it has to be a guided session, not a session where they will just do something on their own. Not at all. You have to say, don't do this at home, because then they will start, that becomes a spiraling pitfall where they sit and just analyze the thought and analyze. This is not a thought to analyze, it's to diffuse, sublimate. Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshanam is actually included in this. So you diffuse, and then you bring Maitri Karuna. There is also a death experience which I have not brought here. Then they make you lie down and just today is your last day. Die. Why? Because once you know that this is not a permanent life and it's just something that you're just going to end anyway, then that seriousness of that particular whatever nagging thought you have or a PTSD that you have will say, wait a minute, what am I doing here? This is so important. It's just 4 din ka, they say, 4 days of world, and I'm paying this much importance. So there is a death experience at the end. You make them lie down and you say, let us experience death. And since that is a reality that's going to come to us anyway, let's prepare. Today is the day. And this is a death experience in this.
So the diffusion, is that through the words like happiness and
diffusion is first of all the bhajan that we did distracts us from that, so that we don't, now that thought is only a thought, should be the awareness, right? Usually we think that is reality. Let's say I suffered something, I live in that thought and I think that is reality. Then the moment you distract them from that thought, they will say, wait a minute, I can be in other states too. Some people live in the same state for a long, that's it, it's just, that's life. And then you give them that distractive thought and they come back, they say, oh wow, it's okay. For a few minutes, I was away from that thought. I just want to give one final example and we'll go for break. She's a disciple of one of the gurus, and she was saying that her guru had come here, and usually all these various people want to go and visit, especially if they have problems. One of her friends was suffering from tremendous anxiety and depression because she had gone through a divorce, and She was not able to come out of it at all, and she approached her guru and said, "Can my friend come and consult you?" And she's a real guru, huh? This is like a realized kind of guru. She said, "Okay, She said, I can only take so many disciples, and I'm kind of full. I don't take new patients, doctors say." He said, "I don't want any more disciples because I take the karma of those disciples also, and I'm already maxed out." He said, no, she's really suffering. Just at least one. You don't need to take her as disciple. At least just help her out." I said, "Okay, fine. What is the problem?" So she said all this, and then she said, "Okay, tomorrow I want all the kheer material. I want to make kheer." And she said, "Okay, but tomorrow she's coming to visit. Don't worry, just give me all the kheer material." So she brought a big pot and the milk and the whole thing to be doing the kheer. And she said, "What time is she coming?" "Okay, around 1 o'clock. Fine." So Swamini used to have early morning brunch and late dinner, and that's about it, and nothing in between. And she wouldn't sleep or anything. She was meditating. And she said, "Okay, great." So the lady was supposed to come, and this prof was supposed to go and pick up her children. So she said, "Okay, now you guys will be meeting. I'll just invite her, and then I'll go." She said, "No, I'm also interested. I'm going to be making this kheer, but that person is coming now." "No, it's okay. Let her come. Don't worry. Just give me all of that." So she started making the kheer. Just about the time the lady was coming, she said, "Are you kidding me? What are you doing? You are in the kitchen when you are supposed to talk to that lady." "Yeah, let her come. Don't worry." And so the lady walks in and she invites her, and so, "Where is this monk lady of yours?" "Oh, she's inside the kitchen." Okay. And she goes and says, "Mata, the lady is here." "Oh, ask her to come into the kitchen." This is a white lady who has never entered Indian kitchen, and now she's making this kheer, and strange way of meeting your client. And anyway, she says, "Whatever, just I have to rush because I have to pick up my kids." And she says, "Okay." And also, and she's like, "Okay, go inside." And she says, "Hey, can you do this for me?" That lady, right? "Can you do this?" Stirring. And look, not a single thing, it is like kheer, right? Otherwise it will all go into the side. So you have to make sure that nothing goes to the side and nothing goes and sticks. So you have to keep doing this, okay? I have to go and take a bath. This prof is saying she has never taken a bath at this time. What is she doing? And, "Oh no, see, you continue doing this, okay? I have to go upstairs." She's like, strange behavior with this new person, that too, this is a stranger, and she's like, never. And that lady is looking all over. She says, "I don't know anything. You asked me, and here is the appointment. I don't know what to do with this. I have to go. So you keep stirring that, I'll go." And so this lady is stirring that, and this lady, the monk goes upstairs, the lady Swamini, and whatever they are doing, she goes and picks up the child. It'll be like 45 minutes by the time she comes back. And then she comes back, and this lady is stirring, and then the Swamini walks inside, and they both are in the kitchen. She says, "I should not bother them." She goes with her children upstairs, and then a whole conversation happens, and at the end, when she comes down, she says, "I'm healed." And she goes, "What did you do to heal her?" And the lady leaves and everything. She says, "What did you do? What exactly happened here?" She says, "This lady had never known the state of not thinking of this husband, ex-husband. Since then, the mind is reeling with those thoughts, and that's all. The sleep happens, even in the sleep, in the REM, she's still thinking the same. So the depression is because the same loop of thoughts continue uninterrupted. Then nothing can control it, nothing. It's just a loop. And to come out of that, all I did was gave her this thing to stir, and she's new to this. She has no idea how to do this, and now she's scared because she entered a new place, and she doesn't know me, and I just simply pretended like I have to go upstairs, and she has to not burn that thing, and the mind is completely in that because it's completely strange thing, and I should not burn it. And I don't know what's going to happen. I'm in this new place. So suddenly she has got a complete change of circumstance. And for about 45 minutes she did not think anything but that thing, right?
Yeah.
Where she has to keep on stirring. And then when Mata came downstairs, I don't want to take any of those names. That's why I'm trying not to take those names by mistake also. And she comes down and she says, okay, now you're done, switch off. Now they're sitting in the kitchen and she says, how do you feel? What do you mean, how do you feel? I didn't burn anything there. No, how is your mind now? She thinks, are you still thinking of your ex-husband? Last 45 minutes I did not, because I was busy with this. And how does that feel? And then she brings it to her awareness and she says, have you had these 45 minutes without the thought of your ex-husband ever? She says, no, my mind has always been with that, because we live in that automated world, right? Everything is automatic, but the mind is doing its thing. So she says, I just did this for you so that you get a benchmark of 45 minutes of how is it to not think. And she brings herself to her own mind and she says, yeah, it feels actually good. I actually feel a relief now that I was finally able to not think of him. So, that kind of stuff happens here too. That is, you simply remove them from what they were thinking and put them in a new environment. And that benchmark goes on as they start practicing this regularly. That continues, that benchmark of not getting this thought versus this thought. And then why would anybody want to think something that is if that is going to make me miserable? And we yogis have been feeling that way, right? Ever since we took up yoga, we slowly feel that any of these conflicts and this and that, you feel so rotten there and you just want to come out of it, and you just shake your head off and say, hey, why am I sitting and thinking about this? It does not really making me feel good, right? You'll be cooking and something is bothering you. Why am I not feeling so good today? Oh, that one. Okay, why am I? Okay, just give it a thought and say, hey, that's trivial, forget that guy, or whatever it is, that situation. And then we just move on, and then you feel good. So we develop that on our own without too much of, because we have without too much of our own awareness. But for a person who has not known that, we have sought yoga and we have come when we were not pathological patients. But if they are seeking yoga as patients, then they need to be taught these things. That's why these techniques. I hope this was very important. Otherwise, you use this and say, hey, bring a thought that bothers you and sit down with that thought. Then they will learn that.
I have one more question, Ashwini. You said if she took extra client, she would end up with her karma.
Oh, I don't want to get into that. So that's why I didn't want to take anybody's name also, right?
No,
We'll
no,
talk
I
about that
want
in a
to know
break.
how she-
She's recording. I know.